I've tried hundreds of tech gadgets over the last 20 plus years, and I can honestly say there's nothing quite like the Apple Vision Pro. It's an ambitious, albeit expensive, mixed reality headset that looks to propel us all into a future of spatial computing. The eye and hand tracking interface is amazing. The 3D videos blow away your local theater, and the spatial video will put you in the middle of your memories. There's also some great AR apps and games that are truly immersive. But is this thing worth $3,500? There's a lot to go over, so let's discuss my overall Apple Vision Pro pros and cons. The entry-level $3,500 Apple Vision Pro kit comes with the headset itself, a polishing cloth, the basic light seal cushion, and a second thicker light seal cushion. And then optionally, you have these Zeiss optical inserts, which you can use if you wear glasses or readers, and they attach magnetically to the design, so you can actually hear it snap. There are two bands that come included with the Vision Pro. The Solo Knit band is stretchy and makes it really easy to take the Vision Pro on and off, and you can quickly tighten and loosen the fit with the built-in knob. The Dual Loop band provides more stability. I find this one better for longer Vision Pro sessions as there's more support for what's a pretty weighty headset. For people who wear reading glasses like myself, the inserts cost $99 and prescription lenses cost $149. Apple Care Plus will run you an additional $499, which gives you 2 years of unlimited repairs and damage protection. That's a lot of money. Then when you tack on accessories like the $199 case, you're running up a bigger tab than you might initially plan for. So, what can you actually do with the Vision Pro? For starters, it's a multitasking champ. Thanks to the built-in M2 chip that runs the VisionOS, I launched Safari in the center of my space, then I turned to my left and asked Siri to launch Slack, and that app appeared. Then I turned to the right of Safari and opened Apple Music so I could have that playing in the background. At any time, you can pull up the control center by simply looking up and clicking on the floating downward-facing arrow. One of the options in Control Center is the ability to connect with your Mac. But you can also bring your Mac desktop into the Vision Pro just by looking at it. You don't get multiple desktop views, but you do get a crystal clear 4K display that renders text crisply, and you can make that canvas massive. Your keyboard and mouse still work as they normally would, with no latency. You can even use your keyboard in Vision Pro apps if you want. Yes, only Apple could do this, and I can see myself taking the Vision Pro on business trips and using it back at the hotel for, let's say, editing photos or videos, or just sitting back and watching a movie. Starting up front, there are two micro LED displays that give you 23 million pixels, which is the equivalent of more than 4K per eye. And on the right-hand side, you have the digital crown, which will look familiar for Apple Watch owners. And what you can do with this is not only control the volume, but also how immersive the environments are. So if you go all the way to the right, you'll close out the world around you. And if you go all the way to the left, you'll see a live view of whatever's in front of you. On the left-hand side, there's another button, and this one is for capturing content. Just press this button to capture spatial video and photos. And you can also double press this to accepting payments within the Apple App Store. The Vision Pro weighs 1.3 to 1.4 pounds depending on the light seal and the headband configuration, which is heavier than the 11-inch iPad Pro on your head. For context, the MetaQuest 3 weighs 1.1 pounds and the MetaQuest Pro 1.6 pounds, so the Vision Pro falls somewhere in between. I wore Vision Pro on and off for several hours, and I didn't find it uncomfortable to wear, but I did feel like taking periodic breaks because of the heft. I also got some light marks on my cheeks. There's no controllers to deal with the Apple Vision Pro. You just use your eyes to look at the element you want to select, and then you tap your thumb and index finger together to click. The Apple Vision Pro's VisionOS starts with your real-world view as the baseline, bringing digital content into your environment instead of taking it over. The video pass-through is very lifelike thanks to the R1 chip that's fast enough to stream images to the Vision Pro's micro OLED displays within 12 milliseconds. That's 8 times faster than you can blink. As you stare around the home screen view and move your eyes from icon to icon, they light up, ready to be selected. The eye tracking is so good, it's also used to authenticate you via Optic ID, which measures your pupils as a security biometric. So think Face ID for your eyes. When it works well, but a couple of times during my testing, it didn't work, and sometimes you need to re-enter your PIN code via a floating keyboard to enable Optic ID. Hand gestures for the Vision Pro let you scroll from left to right and up and down by pinching your fingers together and then dragging in the direction that you want. Zooming in on a photo or web page is as easy as pinching your fingers together with both hands and then spreading them apart. It's very intuitive. Think of environments on the Apple Vision Pro as 3D desktops on steroids. There are several options available, ranging from Yosemite and Haleakala to the moon. I tried Mount Hood and was floored by the level of realism, with detailed sand and rocks beneath my feet, rippling water in front of me, and a towering mountain in the background. Turning the digital crown clockwise for more or counterclockwise for less, I tuned just how removed from my actual environment I want it to be. The Apple Vision Pro lets you type on a floating keyboard to enter text, but it's not very satisfying. For one, there's no tactile feedback, even though you can hear clicks as you type. And you can't type very quickly. It's more of a peck, peck, peck scenario. I do like that you can enter text with your voice. For example, if you're in Safari and you just stare at the microphone icon in the address bar and speak tomsguide.com, it will automatically take you to that website. It's kind of magical. Also keep in mind that you can easily pair a Bluetooth keyboard to the Apple Vision Pro for easier and faster text input. With the Apple Vision Pro, you don't need a home theater like this in order to have an immersive experience. In fact, with this headset, you could take a 100-foot screen wherever you go to watch 3D movies. The Apple Vision Pro on day one is already a first-class entertainment device, and it will make even the biggest skeptic a believer in 3D movies. There are hundreds of 3D titles available on Apple TV+. I was personally blown away when I saw the Mario Brothers movie, so not only did I get a 3D vision in front of me in terms of the action, but because of the environments that you can put up behind it, it was like I was floating in the clouds as I was watching the movie. I almost felt like I could get into the action myself. So even watching a simple nature video on YouTube can become larger than life because you can supersize the player within Safari and then place it on a wall in front of you, and it's even bigger than the screen that's in this room. If you want to take entertainment to the next level, there's immersive video. I'm not someone who watches a lot of adventure videos, but I was blown away when I was able to see a woman walk across a tightrope attached to two mountains. And if you look down, you will feel a little bit scared because you see the height that she's doing this from. And I also got up close and personal with Alicia Keys in the rehearsal studio, and as I looked around, I could see the instruments. We have our backup singers and musicians on the right-hand side, so it's almost like you're sort of like eavesdropping on the rehearsal process. As I was listening to Alicia Keys in the immersive video, it reminded me of the fact that you don't need to use headphones because you have these audio pods built in to the left and right-hand side. And they deliver really great audio quality in terms of the clarity, but also surprisingly good low end. If you want truly the best audio experience, you'll want to pair the Apple Vision Pro with a pair of AirPods, especially the USB-C model, because that's lossless audio. But how about entertainment via your own content? I took a spatial video of my 3 dogs at home in our sunroom, and each pup looked incredibly lifelike as they got closest to the camera, and it was like I could reach out and pet them. You'll get the best results if your subjects are moving and you stay fairly still, as I lost that immersive effect when I turned my head to follow them around. But of course, wearing this headset in public is going to make you look geeky. The good news is that you can use your iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max because with the most recent updates, you can now capture spatial videos directly through your iPhone. The Vision Pro also brings panoramic photos to life in a new way by wrapping them around you, so it's as if you're standing in the center of the frame. For example, I took an amazing panorama of the Manhattan skyline from the balcony of a Bronx apartment. And I was completely immersed in the photo, from the Coca-Cola truck on the left side of the frame to the bridge in the center and the tall skyscrapers peeking through the cloudy background. The Apple Vision Pro can run over 1 million compatible iPhone and iPad apps at launch, which is nice, but I was more interested in testing the truly native Vision Pro apps. The most impressive Vision Pro app I tried is DJ, which puts you right in front of a mixer and turntables. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was still blown away with the realism of the table itself and the fact that I could interact with all the buttons, sliders, and needles as if they were there. I also played What the Golf, where you can place the virtual course anywhere in the room and start putting. It's very noteworthy what apps are not here at launch for the Vision Pro, such as Netflix and YouTube. There's not even iPad-compatible apps right now. When asked about snubbing the Vision Pro, Netflix's CEO said that they're in discussions with Apple, but right now the device is so subscale, it's not particularly relevant. Yikes. Apple doesn't want people to be closed off from the rest of the world while using the Vision Pro, so they've developed a few technologies to keep you at least somewhat connected. The first innovation is Eyesight. Eyesight allows others to see a digital version of your eyes when they try to engage you while you're wearing Vision Pro. If someone comes up to talk to you, they'll break into your view and they'll see your eyes. It's a subtle effect, and a bit creepy looking, but still effective. Still, there's no substitute for, briefly taking off the headset. Let's talk about digital persona because it is one of the most unique features and honestly creepiest features about the Apple Vision Pro. But the idea is that when you're in a FaceTime call or Zoom or other apps that support it, you can use a digital avatar of yourself in those calls, and it'll mimic your expressions, your smiles, your smirks, and even your blinks because of the eye tracking. It kind of reminds me of NBA players in NBA 2K, where you have that uncanny valley experience where it looks like that person, but once they start talking and moving, you know that it's not real. Beyond all the controls and cool features, I did encounter some bugs at times with the Vision Pro. For example, during one session, the headset refused to open the Photos app I was staring at and clicking on. Taking the headset off and putting it back on fixed the problem. On another occasion, Siri refused to open some apps like Slack and Apple Music while opening others. It wasn't a consistent issue, but it was still annoying. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the fact that the Apple Vision Pro needs to be attached to this portable battery at all times. That's how it gets power. There's no battery in the headset itself. It's partially because of how much power this thing requires. It's 12.4 ounces, which is heavier than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So when you're not using the battery when you're standing up, you could just put it in your back pocket like this, for example. And while the cord is long enough, most of the time, if you're really immersed in a game or other experience and you move quickly, you could accidentally tug the battery off the table or couch onto the floor. Depending on how you connect everything, the wire can get tangled like this, and it's already not super long. I haven't had any issues where it's gotten snagged on something, but I've also been very conscious of the fact that it's there. The Apple Vision Pro's battery is rated for 2 hours of general use and 2.5 hours of video playback. In my testing, on and off over 2 hours, the Vision Pro was down to about 60% and then down to 40% after another couple of hours. If you want to use the Vision Pro continuously, you can always just plug in the battery using the included USB-C power adapter. When I think about the Apple Vision Pro, there's a few words that come to mind. One is unmatched. The other is just wow and fully immersive. And that's because I really do feel like the Vision Pro pushes the boundaries in terms of what we would think of an AR and VR device in one. Sure, it's easy to scoff at because of its price, and I definitely can't afford one at $3,500. But now that I've been wearing this review unit and testing all of its features, I would argue that it's the most innovative Apple product since the original iPhone. Do I think that most people are going to buy one? No, but I do think that it really sets the stage for the next era of computing. That said, some may want to wait for the rumored lower cost version on the horizon, but there's no timetable for that. My bottom line in the Vision Pro that we have right here, right now, is that it's definitely revolutionary, but it's a revolution in progress. For more on the Apple Vision Pro, check out my very in-depth review on tomsguide.com and be sure to follow us at Tom's Guide across all of our social channels for more content around this headset. For Tom's Guide, this is Mark Spoonhour.